Pep Guardiola's Manchester City's 2-3-5 possession shape with inverted fullbacks explained. For cheap, good quality football jerseys, go over to www.jerseyfifa.com. A link will be left in the description and use code atlantisfootball to get 5% off. So before I get into the analysis, just give me 40 seconds to tell you about the OneFootball app. I use this app to keep up to date with the latest football news, and I find it particularly useful during the transfer window, as they have a section on the app that has all the latest done deals in the transfer window, as well as the circulating rumours. If you go into the match section of the app, you can find statistics from pretty much any match from any league in the world, which is what I like to do for games I'm not able to watch in full, to give myself a general idea of how the game went, as well as the style of both teams in the match. If you're a fan of this channel, you'll definitely find this app useful, and you'll be helping to support the channel directly, so go and click the link in the description to get the OneFootball app. So in this video, I'm first going to be statistically analysing Manchester City this season in the Premier League, both defensively and offensively, whilst also comparing them to last season as well, and then I'll be analysing their possession system, which I think is a fundamental reason behind their success this season. So if we look at the Premier League from a statistical point of view, we can see that Manchester City have clearly been the best side. They obviously sit at the top of the table with 53 points, 7 clear of Manchester United and 13 clear of Liverpool. In terms of expected points, City are also top of the league, showing that they deserve their position with 53.24x points, about the same amount of actual points that they've managed to accumulate. Whereas second place Chelsea have 43.08x points, Liverpool sit in third with 42.99x points, having played a game more, and United sit in fourth with 40.89x points, showing clearly how much better City have been than everybody else. City also sit at the top of the table in terms of XG with 48.46, with Liverpool in second with an XG of 44.81, which isn't as great a difference as we have seen from previous seasons, where City have been by far and away massively outscoring and outcreating everyone else. However, defensively they are immaculate, with the lowest expected goals against rate in the league of 16.09, well ahead of second place Chelsea, who have a rate of 21.42 expected goals against. This can also be seen as in 19 of their 23 matches so far this season, they've recorded an expected goals against rate of less than 1, meaning that the opposition side has only been able to create 1 expected goal in a game against City in just 4 of their 23 matches, which is absolutely incredible. 23 games into last season, City had actually recorded 51.84 expected points, showing that City weren't actually that bad last season in comparison. It was just that Liverpool were almost perfect up until this point. City had also recorded an XG of 61.80, substantially more than their XG rate this season, showing that they have dropped off in terms of their offensive output. However, I do think this comes from them managing games a lot better this season, and that's seen as they aren't battering teams 4 or 5-0 like they have done in the last few seasons. But their defensive record has massively improved to the level where it's even better than Liverpool's last season, as last season City's expected goals against rate was 24.12, whereas now it's 16.09, which is lower than Liverpool's 20.21 at this stage last season, which just goes to show how incredible City are defensively this season. But in this video, I'm not going to be analysing their defensive setup. Instead, I'm going to be looking at their possession system from a tactical point of view and the evolution of Guardiola's system. So City nearly always line up in what looks to be on paper either a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. However, in the build-up phase when in possession, we see this morph into a 2-3-5 or a 3-2-5, depending on whether the opposition side is defending with a front 2 or a front 3. We see here against Tottenham that Mourinho's side are defending in a 4-4-2 shape, with Kane and Lucas Moura sitting narrow and attempting to cut off the passing lane into the deep single pivot Rodri. What we see here is that Zinchenko and Cancelo have taken up positions in the space either side of the Tottenham front 2, which opens up passing lanes for the City centre-backs. In a usual 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, what we'll see from the side is that the fullbacks usually hold a wider position, but the benefit of City's inverted fullbacks is that they can create a pentagon shape, which enables them to circulate the ball quickly from side to side and bypass the opposition's front 2 with one pass into the narrow fullback in this space. This is because when the ball is on the opposite side, the fullback moves infield to a central midfield position, giving the centre-backs a passing lane into central midfield when they receive the ball, rather than being forced to play a pass out wide. If City come up against an opposition using a narrow front 3 as they did against Liverpool, their 2-3 shape in the build-up adjusts to a 3-2 shape. This is because the opposition's front 3 will be stretched wider than the front 2, meaning that in order to circulate the ball around the front line press, City need to make their back line in possession wider, which sees Zinchenko drop a little deeper, creating a wide back 3 with Stones pushing out to this right side, and Cancelo moving further infield to create a midfield double pivot. Rodri and Cancelo's positioning is also key, as they position themselves between the Liverpool front three, meaning that if Salah or Mane push wider to close off the pass into Zinchenko or Stones, then a pass in between the wide forwards and centre forward opens up into the City double pivot. Not only do the inverted fullbacks give City the shape to circulate the ball, but they also give them defensive security to allow Gundogan and either Bernardo Silva or Kevin De Bruyne to push up the pitch between the lines in the half space. Ahead of the deeper five players in the possession phase, we see that City use a flat five, with the two central midfielders pushing up and the false nine dropping deep, giving City three players in the positions between the opposition's midfield and defence. Like the deeper five players, the positioning of the front five can vary. In the game against Liverpool, we saw that the two central midfielders, Bernardo Silva and Gundogan, pushed up into the half spaces, with Foden, the false nine, dropping into this central position. However, against Tottenham, it was Bernardo Silva in this central attacking position, with Gabriel Jesus, the centre forward, dropping into this wider right half space, with Gundogan advancing to the left-sided half space. With Guardiola instructing the wingers to hold their advanced position, this stretches the opposition's defensive shape and therefore opens up the passing lanes for these three players between the lines to receive the ball in. When City are able to work the ball into the middle third, the front five therefore provides an abundance of options. The two players in the half space are the obvious options when Rodri or the inverted fullbacks have the ball, but if the opposition decides to squeeze narrow, this just leaves the wingers more space on the flanks when they hold their advanced positions. In this case, it's Foden and De Bruyne, but City's attackers are also versatile, so we can see Mahrez, Sterling or Bernardo Silva in these wide positions. The interesting thing is that Cancelo and Zinchenko do not only hold these narrow positions in the build-up, but we also see them making underlapping runs, as Cancelo does here, getting into a threatening position in the box. Players like De Bruyne, Mahrez and Bernardo Silva are excellent in the final third in terms of their creativity, but Gundogan and Phil Foden, especially this season, have moved to a whole nother level. I may do individual videos statistically and tactically analysing these two players, so if you want to see those videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Phil Foden has played a range of different positions, from the winger role to the false nine role, and in my opinion, his better position is on either of the two flanks. This is due to him having a similar off-the-ball ability to Sterling, knowing when to hold his position wide and when to make a diagonal run in behind his fullback to get into a crossing or shooting position. Gundogan, rather than retaining a deeper position alongside Rodri as he would do last season, is now positioned higher up in the 3-8 position and so is able to make late runs in and around the box, enabling him to get into more goal scoring positions. The role of the centre forward in Pep's system this season is also interesting, with Aguero playing there for the last few seasons. It has been a false nine role, with Aguero dropping off from the forward line, looking to receive the ball between the lines to link the play and open up spaces in the back line for others. However, this season the centre forward is far more fluid. We've seen De Bruyne, Foden, Jesus, Bernardo Silva and Sterling all play in this role, and in many senses now, the false nine is now more of a fifth attacking midfielder, playing between the lines and an outright centre forward. What this means is that it's incredibly hard for the opposition centre backs to pick him up, as we see here when the ball moves into Cancelo in the final third, and De Bruyne is between the Chelsea defence and midfield line. He's able to make a direct run into the space between the two centre-backs, which he wouldn't have been able to do if he had started in a higher position in the back line, enabling the Chelsea centre-backs to mark him. Cancelo's vision and pass is excellent and sets De Bruyne through for a one-on-one opportunity. City's possession system is allowing them to circulate the ball from side to side quickly, stretching the opposition system and find gaps in between the lines for their central attacking midfield three to take advantage of. This is yet another evolution of Guardiola's tactics, and despite a shaky start to this season, we are now beginning to see Manchester City not only dominate individual matches but also dominate the league as a whole. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that video, remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out some of my other videos linked in the description. Give the video a like, follow me on my other social media accounts as well for more content, and put your thoughts in the comment section below.